Andor feels like a breath of fresh air in the Star Wars franchise. Brings back two things that I loved about Star Wars when I was a kid. It makes the universe feel huge, and it reintroduces tragedy as a core tenet of the story. Actions have consequences, and in a universe where the underdogs are taking massive risks to get ahead, people are going to die. Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and try to release a new review every day from Monday to Friday. Today, I'm talking about the first half of Andor. 6 episodes have been released and I feel comfortable talking about the show. I really enjoyed the first 6 episodes. I watched them in 2 chunks of 3 and came out ready for the next one. Before we go too far, let's quickly go over the plot. Andor follows Cassian Andor, a young man looking for his sister. Cassian has a brush with the law that leads to him getting swept up in the rebellion. It's pretty vague, but it gives you the gist of what's going on. Cassian is a pilot with some mercenary skills. The first 3 episodes are about how he came to meet Luthen of the Rebel Alliance, and how he got the job. The next 3 episodes are about Andor helping the rebels with a heist. So far this story has contained itself to 3 episode story arcs, and I hope it continues with this formula. It works really well for building up a lot of tension and then getting a huge payoff. The fight in the dockyard and the heist were the best endings an audience could have asked for. It keeps the show from feeling stale while still allowing each of the stories the time they deserve to unfold properly. It's pretty simple stuff plot-wise, but the show does conflict really well. Andor's relationships with other people are strained at best, and watching him navigate the universe with his guard up is fascinating. He's constantly starting fights with people, and things around him are always tense. I really like him as a character. He's suspicious of others and quick thinking on his feet. He has a lot of lone wolf features and yet feels like he has the makings of a hero underneath. The way he always gives things back better than they were, or when he tries to do the right thing even when it isn't good for him, these are moments when he shines. But he also doesn't hesitate to kill in order to protect himself, and it's led to some of the darkest scenes I've ever watched on television. The one shot of the guy begging for his life in the rain had my heart stop. I felt so bad for him, but I knew he had to go. Why would Cassian risk himself for this random dude? Still, what a heavy moment. A lot of characters in the show project their wants and desires onto Cassian. He's like a secret mirror into the thoughts and feelings of the people around him. When he's talking to Luthen, Nemik, or Orville Skeen, we get to see deep into their personalities. Luthen and Nemik are both obsessed with the rebellion. Both of them project that onto Cassian. Skeen only focuses on the money, and he only becomes comfortable with Cassian when he knows that he's there for the money too. Diego Luna, who plays Cassian, does a fantastic job of playing him. He hits all the emotions just right, and I love how he plays it in such a grounded way. Cassian feels like a normal guy just trying to survive. He isn't the only standout actor in the show by any means. Stellan Skarsgård, who plays Luthen Rael, is also a real treat to watch. When he's with Andor, he exhibits the typical stoic leader qualities, and then when he's in his shop on Coruscant, he's more whimsical and courting. The scene of his transformation was jaw-dropping. There are a lot of good performances in Andor. Even the single appearance extras are really invested in their roles. The guy who played Andor's robot did the stuttering robot voice, and it was both hilarious and sad. Such a good voice acting job. I love how Andor builds out the universe with such wonderful characters. It adds new worlds and cultures to the universe and tells us a lot about how the Empire was operating during those years. We see them constantly edging their way into new territory or discussing the land they've already taken for people. We also got to see how the people of Ferrix responded to the corporate officers, that there are still pockets of resistance in the galaxy unrelated to the rebellion. The characters, the sets, and the worlds they add to the Star Wars universe feel like things George Lucas might have added. I really enjoyed that they weren't afraid to create new places to play in and that they aren't afraid of variety. Morlana 1 was a cyberpunk world with oddly shaped doors and strange haircuts. Ferrix is a shanty town filled with scrappers dedicated to breaking down old starships. And Aldhani is a scenic paradise that reminds me of the Highlands of Scotland. Another aspect of the show that I really enjoy is how actions have consequences. Picking a fight might lead to accidental death, getting involved in someone else's situation might get you killed, and coming unprepared is a death sentence. This show punishes characters who mess up, and it gives the entire thing an authentic feel. 2 things that I did find negative about the show were how hectic it felt at times and how little relief there is from the tension. We're constantly jumping around without a lot of explanation, and while it does make for interesting television, it can be confusing when the show introduces a whole new cast to you every few episodes. It's hard to tell what storylines are important and what's just filler. As for the tension, it just builds and builds. Each episode feels like walking a tightrope that could snap at any time, and there's never a positive or funny moment to let off any steam. I assume this is because the showrunners don't expect you to binge watch it, but it's really hard not to with the 3 episode story arcs. It isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you probably shouldn't binge watch this show. Having said all of that, I really enjoyed the first half of this season and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. 8 out of 10.